You heard what Lester said. He won't be back for several hours.
Yeah.
Besides, even if he did come back, it wouldn't make any difference. See this little finger? I got him wrapped right around it.
Really?
He's just a lot of hot air and fluff. I do all the work around here. Lester, I hate to bother you again, but it's my thinking that if you were here, you would have done the same thing that I did. Now, we've put up with her long enough.
You know, I've just been looking over Mrs. Davidson's personnel file. She has quite a record here.
You know how those files are compiled, all hype and no substance. Performance is what counts. What we need here are some people on our staff that are loyal, dedicated to the hospital, dedicated to you, and I'm sure you know where I stand on that subject.
You have a great deal of respect for me?
Yes, I do. As a matter of fact, I don't think I admire anybody more, and I'm not just saying that. I have always held you in the highest regard.
Is that so?
Well, have you made your decision?
Yes, Russ, I have. Very interesting. Mrs. Davidson has quite a history of service with this hospital. Her past record is excellent.
Well, her past record? What about her present record? What about what she's done the time that she's been here at the hospital while I've worked here?
Well, that's just it. There's hardly a complaint in her file except, of course, from you.
Well, nobody else has the guts to put in writing their observations like I do.
You know, Russ, I've had a lot of falling out with Terry Davidson in the past, but she's made big contributions to this hospital over the years. Now, you've made contributions, too, in the short time that you've been with us. You're very cost-conscious. You've saved this hospital a lot of money. Now, I'm very proud of that. I even told you that you remind me of myself at your age.
Yes, sir, and I'm very flattered.
However, some people tell me that behind my back, you regard me with contempt.
Me? No, no.
All I know is that's what I heard.
From Terry Davidson? Lester, I'm telling you, she would do anything to discredit me.
Now, you forget that I overheard you tell your girlfriend what you really think of me. I'd hardly call that respect.
You must have misunderstood that. I would never say anything against you.
In addition, your behavior has made waves among the hospital staff. Now, we've already lost several good nurses, and now Dr. Thompson is considering resigning. You know, I don't think he took too kindly to your quibbling with him over his reports.
Quibbling?
And now Dr. Greeley tells me that there are rumblings of a strike. Do you know what would happen to this hospital if all the doctors and nurses walked out? The consequences would be disastrous.
I'm not sure I understand exactly what you're getting at, Lester.
Quite frankly, I've had every reason to doubt your sincerity ever since I heard those initial remarks of yours.
It's got to be a mistake. Lester, I don't know what it was that you heard that day, but whatever it was probably just a joke.
Maybe so, but I have made my decision. After thinking things over, I have decided that the best thing is to let you go.
Well, Lester called a few minutes ago.
Call your service.
He asked to see Terry down in his office.
Well, I hope he realizes what could happen to this hospital if he backs up Russ on this.
Yeah, well, I explained to him there was talk of a strike. He said he didn't want that any more than we did.
Well, in that case, his next move should be obvious.
Yeah, we'll know soon enough. I walked with Terry down to his office, and she said she'd meet me back here as soon as it was over. Hey, you got any cream back there?
You've got to be kidding.
No, I'm perfectly serious. Now, I know sometimes it's necessary to be stern, but you've carried that to an extreme. Now, your major job here is to facilitate the smooth operation of this hospital. Instead, you very nearly brought it to a standstill. Now, I can't allow that to happen.
Lester, listen to me. Listen to what I'm saying. They'll never go through with it. They're just bluffing.
I can't afford to take that chance. In the 20 years I've been with this hospital, there has never been a strike, and I intend to keep it that way.
But you just can't
Now,
fire...
in accordance with the new personnel policies which you helped put into effect, you will be entitled to 2 weeks severance pay. Of course, you won't receive any remuneration for the vacation days, do you?
Why not?
Well, don't you remember? Why, it was your suggestion, and a very good one, that no vacation pay be given to anyone leaving the hospital in under a year. Oh, you were right. That stipulation has saved us a great deal of money. Well, that'll be all. You can be on your way. Oh, and Russ, one more thing. The coat. That's hospital property.
Mr. Lewis?
Oh, come in, Mrs. Davidson. Have a seat. I'll be with you in just a minute. Well, I just wanted to tell you that I have looked at this matter from all angles, and I have decided to let Russ go. I've thought things over, and I think this is in the best interest of Kingsley General. Oh, and if there's any doubt in your mind, I'm reinstating you as Director of Nursing, effective immediately.
You know, I was very impressed with the staff at Mercy Hospital. They always treated Laurie with dignity. Even when she first arrived and wasn't responding at all, the doctors and nurses all talked to her as if she could hear and understand. I mean, who knows? Maybe she could. Maybe that's what made a difference.
I wonder what's going on with Terry right now. What could be taking so long?
Oh, relax. We'll hear soon enough.
You know, if Lester sides with Russ in this, I think our next course of action is obvious.
A strike? Terry would never be a part of that.
No, probably not. But a lot of the nurses are pushing for it.
Well, I just hope that isn't necessary. Well, how did it go?
I've been reinstated as Director of Nursing.
Thank God.
What a relief.
I'll say.
But you know, what else could Lester do when you stop and think about it?
What about Russ? I'm sure he's one very...
Russ has been fired.
What?
Terrific.
Oh, I didn't think Lester had it in him. Smart move.
What gets me is that none of this ever had to happen. It was also unnecessary.
Well, you set out to swallow people up. You run the risk of being swallowed up yourself. It's a chance that he took.
I suppose, but I still can't help but feel sorry for him.
Terry, look at the other side of things. It's a lot better that he learned this lesson now while he's still young.
When it's not too late for him to change, if he can.
I just hope he does.
Terry, you're compassionate to a fault sometimes. The guy who fires you gets fired himself, and here you are feeling sorry for him. Oh, look, let's just put Russ Weaver right out of our minds and concentrate on how well things are going for the Davidsons these days. And the Martins. Laurie's doing much better. She'll be home in a few weeks. You've got your job back, and Jack Egan's going to fix up that hand of yours tomorrow.
Before we count that blessing, maybe we ought to wait and see how the surgery goes.
Ben, everything's going to be just fine. Jack Egan's one of the best specialists in the state. You don't have a thing to worry about.
Ben, you had faith for Laurie to recover. Now you've got to have faith for yourself. Ben, your hand is in the Lord's hands now, where it belongs. It's not going to do you any good to worry about it.
Yeah, and I would do exactly what she says, since that's coming from our new director of nursing. We don't tolerate insubordination around here, you know. Our last director of nursing got fired for that.
I am just so glad this whole mess is straightened out.
Yeah, well, with Russ gone, things should be a little more pleasant for everybody around here.
Oh, boy, you can sure say that again. Oh, Miriam, hi.
Hi, Dr. Greeley. Ben, how good to see you.
Well, it's good to see you, Marion.
Oh, well, Terry's been telling me that Laura's doing much better.
Oh, yes, she is. The doctors think she'll be able to come home soon.
Oh, really? Well, that's just great. That's great. You must be happy. Very happy.
To be sure.
Our prayers have been answered more than one way today.
Terry, I was just wondering if maybe you had a few minutes we could chat.
Well, sure, Miriam.
Alex, why don't you and I go finish talking about the clinic over in the doctor's lounge? There's still a lot of details we have to work out.
Sure, sure.
Thank you.
If you ladies will excuse us now.
Certainly. See you later.
Bye-bye.
Terry, I don't know why I'm feeling like this.
Miriam, what is it?
Oh, it just sounds silly, but I just miss my mother. I had waited so long for her to find her and everything, and now she's gone.
Well, no wonder you feel sad.
But I just don't understand it, why she left or anything. We were just getting to know each other.
Your mother's made a new life for herself in Canada. Now, you can understand that, can't you?
Sure, I know. She explained all that to me. I do understand. I know that all those years of animosity that have built up, well, I guess only the Lord could heal that. But still, I would think
Well,
that
there's
she...
always letters and phone calls. There are lots of ways that you can communicate.
Right. I guess you haven't noticed that I'm not very successful at long-distance communication. I've been trying to reach my son for months now.
You still haven't heard from Frederick?
No. I've lost my son and my husband, and now I've lost my mother. I might even possibly lose my father forever. Terry, I'm all alone.
Really blew it this time, didn't you? Stupid. Man. What's all this gonna happen for? First Laurie, then Becky, med school, now this. Just when everything's going great. Let you have it. I knew I couldn't count on Lester. I knew I couldn't count on Lester. Sure made some mistakes, man. Why'd I have to get fired?
I know you must feel very lonely right now, Miriam, but you're not alone. The Lord is right there with you. He's there to comfort you and walk beside you. His word promises that.
So why is that so hard to believe?
I don't know. There are times when all of us want to believe, but everything in us is doubting.
Tara, I don't know what I'd do without you. I think you're my only friend.
Oh, Miriam, you know that's not true.
Well, I mean someone that I can really talk to.
No, why, there's Ione and Jean and Babs and, oh, that girl in your office. What's her name?
Oh, Vicky, she's not a friend. She's just someone I work with.
Well, you used to talk like she was a friend.
I'm not so certain anymore.
Oh?
Would you believe she has struck up a friendship with Nancy? I can't handle that. I mean, she seems to actually like Nancy.
Well, maybe she hasn't had time to find out what Nancy's all about yet.
Yeah, maybe. Besides, I don't think they have much in common. You know, I just wish Lori would hurry up and come home.
Well, she'll be here soon. Don't worry.
I really miss her.
You and me both. You know, you're going to be a big help to her when she comes home. I know it.
Well, I hope so, after all the things she did for me when I was in the hospital.
You know what, Miriam? That just reminded me. You were talking about feeling lonely. Maybe you could become involved in one of Ione's volunteer projects. She might know of somebody that could use your help, or maybe just your friendship.
Well, you might be right. I don't think Ione Redlin has felt lonely one day in her life. She's just too busy helping other people. I guess I've been too busy feeling sorry for myself.
Terry, I've got to talk with you right now.
Speak to Mary Ann Prescott, please. Yeah, no. No messages.
Nancy, I'm talking with Miriam. Can't you see that?
Yeah, I can see that, but it's important. I have to talk with you.
Well, maybe we can talk after I finish talking with Miriam.
Oh, I don't believe this.
Terry, no, Terry, it's all right.
Are you sure?
Yes, just besides, you have given me a lot to think about. Thank you.
If you need me, just call me. Promise?
Okay, I promise.
Okay, take care.
Okay, you too.
Well, is that it?
So you've heard about Mr. Carpenter?
Charles?
Well, that's why you're here, isn't it?
What about Charles?
Well, he's going to have surgery tomorrow afternoon, a triple bypass.
Well, I couldn't care less what that old fool has, whether he lives or dies, you know, after what he's done to me.
Nancy, if that's what you came here to tell me.
Terry, I need some money. I am really stuck. You've got to help me.
I told you before, I'm not going to give you any money.
But you have to. I mean, who else am I going to turn to?
Have you ever thought about yourself? Have you ever considered that possibility? If you need money, why don't you go out and get a job?
A job? I mean, don't be ridiculous.
Most people do work for a living, Nancy.
Well, in case you haven't noticed, there is a recession on. I mean, good jobs are hard to find.
It's especially hard when you don't even bother to go out and look for one.
Look, Terry, I need money right now. Now, can you lend it to me? I will pay it back to you, I promise.
No, Nancy. I'm sorry. I simply won't do it.
What am I going to do about this, then?
You're going to have to pay it.
Can you believe that? $20,000 for my hospital bill? I mean, that is ridiculous. I didn't expect that. I mean, there must be a mistake there somewhere.
Well, as far as I can see, everything looks in order.
But Charles was supposed to pay it.
Well, you should have thought about that before you had your little accident.
Oh, very funny.
I didn't mean it to be.
Well, what am I going to do, Terry?
Well, you could talk to Lester Lewis.
Who is he?
He's the hospital administrator. Maybe he can work out some special arrangements.
Terrific. Where am I going to get $20,000?
You could sell your half of the house.
Oh, you'd like that, wouldn't you? I mean, you selfish, self-righteous, callous. Oh, rat. I can't believe.
Yes, this is Mr. Lewis. Oh, Mr. Gallagher, I thought I made myself perfectly clear on the subject. If you don't put a stop to those cost overruns, I'm going to have to take more drastic action. Now, I think you know what I'm talking about.
Mr. Lewis, I have to talk with you.
Mr. Gallagher, I'm going to have to call you back. Something has come up. Now, what is the meaning of this intrusion? I have a secretary, young lady.
Yes, I know, but I'm desperate. I really need your help.
Oh, everybody's got a problem today. All right, come sit down here.
It's my hospital bill. Look, they must have made some mistake with it. I'm just wondering if maybe they put the decimal point in the wrong place,
Let
because
me
it can't
see.
possibly be that much.
Well, this will take a little research, but on the surface it appears to be correct. Hospital room, Dr. Lieberman services, physiotherapy. Oh, my. They gave you quite a few special tests, didn't they?
Yeah, a lot of good it did, too.
You seem to have recovered very nicely.
Yeah, but the least they could have done was tell me how much it was going to cost.
Our first concern is the patient's health. You have no insurance?
Well, no, an associate of mine, Charles Carpenter, was supposed to pay for it.
Well, I'll look into that, but it's very clear here that this bill was to be made out to Mrs. Nancy Lawson. It is you, isn't it?
But we could make a special arrangement. I mean, especially in cases like this, couldn't we?
Oh, I'm sure that we could. But, of course, the hospital does have its regular billing procedures. Now, perhaps you could arrange to have a deduction from your weekly paycheck.
Paycheck, but I don't have a job.
Well, you can hardly expect the hospital to act as your banker now, can you?
But, Mr. Lewis, I could make it worth your while.
Oh, I'm sure you could. However, it's very clear from this bill that you are responsible for the entire amount. Now, if you are temporarily short of the cash, I'd suggest that you discuss the possibility of arranging a loan.
Mr. Lewis, what am I going to do? Where am I going to get $20,000?
Well, perhaps a second mortgage of some sort, or
Maybe I'll go to Brubaker and I'll get my jewelry and sell it off. That's what I'm going to do. Never mind. Thank you.
I'm sorry that I couldn't be more
Yeah,
help.
thank you. That's all right.
But business is business.